What would you like the public and the governor to understand about why you spoke out?
Yes, I actually spoke out to have cleared the misgivings that were running in the minds of the public. And we actually wanted to also get to find out where was the 14,000 hectares situated in Edo State.
All right. That was the voice of Timothy Osemigye, the journalist and civil servant from Edo State, whose only offense was asking questions. Remember him? You remember this guy? He was the first to publicly question the now infamous 14,000 hectare land story. He called the Edo GIS boss to verify what the governor supposedly said. And for that act of journalism, he's been queried, formally punished by the state he serves.
Timothy, the visually impaired journalist, is this a matter that when we heard at the weekend that the 17-year-old boy that acquired that 14 hectares, he went to that said, let me kukuma ask the Oga, what is actually the issue, sir?
Actually, I know there's a 17-year-old boy buy land. You ask them where they buy that. Not people you ask them.
Now, Timothy did what every journalist should do. He heard a story, a strange, unbelievable claim that a 17-year-old had purchased 14,000 hectares of land in Edo State. At first, he ignored it, right? But when the same story was broadcast on Edo Broadcasting Service, the official state-owned TV, he believed it. He believed it must have come from the governor's office. Take a listen.
How did you first hear about the 14,000 hectares land story?
My brother, I heard it firstly from bloggers on the internet. But when I heard all that, I wasn't quite comfortable. I did not, go into recording. Not until I heard it officially broadcast from the state-owned media, Edo Broadcasting Service Television, on the 12th day of October 2025.
He decided to investigate. He called Dr. Tony Ikpasaja, the managing director of Edo Geographic Information Service, the same agency responsible for land documentation. He asked questions, and that's where his problem began. So days later, Timothy was served a query letter. The letter accused him of making derogatory and unwarranted statements. It was signed by Mrs. Ogbejele. You see, for me, this query letter is clearly part of the same information suppression pattern I have been documenting. So for both accuracy and fairness to the Ministry of Arts, Culture, Tourism, and Diaspora Affairs, given that this document has generated significant public interest, I decided to call Ms. Ogbejele, who signed on behalf of the permanent secretary, to understand a few things. So I called her number directly.
Because there is a query, madam, that it was you who signed the query on behalf of the permanent secretary.
Did you read the query that I was directed?
Okay, let me make it clear that my idea to first interview the signatory, Mrs. Ogbejele, Director of Shared Service, is because she's the operational link between the ministry and the permanent secretary, which could reveal whether the order truly came from the ministry or if it was influenced externally. So when I called Mrs. Ogbejele, she didn't deny signing it. She only said I was directed. Directed by who? By the permanent secretary, Barrister Irene Omogiwa. Take a listen.
You just confirmed that it was the PS who approved the query. You signed on behalf of the PS. So I will try to speak with the PS instead, if it's okay.
Thank you.
Now, what Miss Ogbejele unintentionally confirmed is that she acknowledged the query was directed. When she said, "Did you read the query that I was directed?" That's confirmation that the instruction did not originate from her office. It came from above. And since the letter itself says for permanent secretary, when you look at the signature, she signed for the permanent secretary. That means she signed it on directive from the permanent secretary. And if you read the query, it reads, "I am directed to refer to the above mentioned subject and to refer to your social media broadcast on Inner Eye TV and radio in respect to Edo GIS, where you made derogatory and unwarranted statements, also acting in a manner that is inimical to the civil service." That single line, "I'm directed to refer," is everything. It says it all. It's the bureaucratic equivalent of a fingerprint, a proof that the order came from above, not from her initiative. So between her words on the phone, "Did you read the query that I was directed?" and the actual letter that says, "I am directed to refer," you now have three confirmations on three things. One, the chain of command. The directive didn't originate from the ministry's disciplinary department. Two, purpose of the query. It's not about discipline. It's about punishment for questioning power. Now, the third thing, legal and ethical breach. You see, a civil servant being queried for making factual inquiries about a public issue is a violation of Section 39 of the Nigerian Constitution, which guarantees freedom of expression. So all this considered, the query wasn't initiated by the ministry on its own. It was a directive that came from higher up. And Ms. Ogbejele's own words confirm it. That means my next logical step was to reach out to the permanent secretary, not just for fairness, but to close the loop of accountability. Take a listen.
I would like to clarify something about the query that was issued to Mr. Timothy Osemigie from your ministry, the one...
You need to speak to the director of administration. Your inquiry, there's a director in charge of administration and staff issues. So your inquiry should be channeled to her. I'll send an email so that we can respond. We're calling from abroad. Please send an email.
I spoke with Mrs. Ogbejele, and she said she was directed.
Conclude with her. Conclude with her. She's the director of administration.
Yeah, but she said she was directed by you. She said she was directed by you. Madam.
Anything that has to do with query, she's able to respond to it.
Yeah, but she said I spoke with her.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, madam. I spoke with her earlier. I need you to hear me. I need you to hear me out. Okay.
Please, Mr. Journalist, I'm driving. Write formally. You say you have spoken to the director.
Yes, yeah, because she said she was directed.
There is a process for inquiries. You are making an inquiry. Write a formal request and we will respond. If the director of administration is not sure about one or two things, she will consult with me. I'm the head of the ministry. I give directives on.
Yeah, because she signed on your behalf.
Okay.
She signed on your behalf.
She handles staff issues, all staff issues. She handles it for us. So she has more information about staff and all of that. She can answer that.
I will send that.
When I called the permanent secretary, I wasn't actually expecting a fight. I only wanted to ask one simple question. Who authorized the query? But she immediately went into talking mode, over talking me, interrupting and repeating the same phrases. Write formally, I'm driving, talk to the director. You see, her reaction was very, very telling. It was already telling from the beginning, because instead of answers, I got interruptions. She spoke fast, cut me off, hung up twice. Then I called back, and she insisted I send an email or speak to the director of administration. Yet, in her own words, she admitted,
everything in the ministry comes from my table, ends and begins from my table.
And unknowingly, she added,
Even I, as a permanent secretary, on most of the things I'm doing, I'm either directed by the governor or the head of service. That's a regular civil servant matter.
So, what does that tell you? That the query came from her office, right? But not from her alone. Someone higher up gave that order. And that's why she couldn't let me talk. That's why she kept saying, write formally. Because when people have nothing truthful to say, they hide behind process. They turn bureaucracy into a bunker. So when she tells me to write formally, she's not asking for order. She's asking for delay. And delay is the government's favorite way of unaliving the truth. So here's the truth. The query didn't come from a ministry trying to protect its image. It came from a government trying to protect a lie. It fits the exact pattern we have seen from others. Avoidance masked as busyness. You see, when an official keeps talking over you, hangs up twice, and claims to be driving, it's usually a deliberate tactic to dominate the conversation and avoid being quoted saying anything specific. She was just here, up and down. She kept saying, talk to Miss Ogbejele. But also in the same breath, she said, everything begins and ends with my table. That's bureaucratic contradiction. And her insistence that I must write formally and use the ministry's portal is a bureaucratic firewall, a way to bury inquiries in paperwork and not to answer them. But Timothy's case is not isolated, yeah? It's part of a pattern, a wider culture of silencing in Edo State. Remember, EBS aired the story. And Edo Geographic Information Service, Edo GIS, denied it. The governor's chief press secretary, Fred Itwa, disowned it. And the director of news at EBS, Freddie Mokbai, who first admitted that the story came from official media channel, later backpedaled, asking me,
are you sure you saw that here on EBS?
He is the director of news, for heck's sake. Every report passes through him. Of course he saw it. But fear can easily erase memory faster than time. This is what state intimidation looks like. You see, when I reached out to the managing director of EBS, he was cautious, but truthful. He confirmed on record that EBS received an official press release from government channel. He also told me that EBS has invited the Edo GIS, Edo Geographic Information Service, to come on air and clarify their denial, and that they have refused to show up. So what does that tell you again? It tells you that EBS didn't invent that story. They heard what they were given. And now that the truth has turned inconvenient, everyone is pretending they never saw it. Every person I spoke with used the same defensive language. Don't quote me, said Fred Imokbai. I was directed, said Mrs. Ogbejele, sent a mail, said the permanent secretary, "I don't usually talk to journalists," retorted Dr. Tony Ikpasaja. "Go and get the hard copy," said the EBS MD. Each line carries the same DNA: avoidance, deflection, fear. Because in a system where truth is punishable, bureaucracy becomes both shield and sword. They are not answering questions. They are surviving power. And journalists like Timothy are reprimanded for asking questions, punished for curiosity, and persecuted for honesty. And we shouldn't let it happen. No. If not, it will come to a point in this country, in Edo State, when journalists will be scared to ask questions.
In 2 weeks, I've gotten 2 queries from the management of my own ministry saying that the office of the CPA, Chief Press Secretary to Governor Paolo Freditwa, has asked that I should be queried by ministry level. So that to me, it shows that, the management is also on me heavily.
Now, let's not forget the context. Barely weeks ago, Edo State was rocked by the Euro-Africa CCI $250 million phantom deal, a scandal that has also disappeared into thin air like Kaiser Sose, into silence. Now this, another story buried alive, another journalist punished. This is not coincidence. It's coordination. A government that lies on Monday, right, denies on Tuesday, and goes silent by Friday. A government that treats accountability like rebellion. A government dancing around its own lies. Timothy said it best. The system we operate does not support true accountability. They believe querying me will silence my voice. How best can anyone put it? But he's still speaking, right? And his calmness is louder than their noise. You see, Timothy told me on record that the Chief Press Secretary, Fred Itwa, personally ordered that he be queried, and that a panel is now being set up to investigate him. For what crime? What did he do? For verifying information the government itself released? Take a listen to what he said.
Fred Itwa, I've said, perhaps, I've made someone uncomfortable. I've been paid, I've been sponsored to bring dragging the government or bringing the government in ridicule. So that's what you get to hear from the government official, or even from the office of the head of service, or even from the ministry that has issued me several queries, that have also put up a panel for me to be investigated, perhaps that will lead to my final exit from the civil service.
If that's not persecution, what is? Now, when I asked Timothy what message he had for the people of Edo, here's what he said.
Whenever they hear government officials come publicly to speak, or statements are issued on behalf of the government of the day, they should be ready to go extra mile to going to reconfirming and double checking the information of what they are being told.
Simple words, right? But in a state where truth is punished, those words are revolutionary. Because the moment we as citizens stop asking questions, we stop being citizens and we start being subjects. Timothy's voice isn't just one man's defiance. It's a mirror showing us what happens when truth meets power in a broken democracy. Still, I want to believe there is hope. There is hope because EBS may still recover its credibility. EBS has not denied its role. The managing director, Suleiman Alede, is still trying to retrieve the hard copy of the release from the government house. He admitted what others denied. That's courage in a house full of cowards. And that gives me hope, honestly, that somewhere inside that system, truth still has a pulse. And there are still journalists like Timothy and citizens like you who refuse to be silenced. So why all these contradictions? Because they know what we now see, that the 14,000 hectare story was not just a lie, it was a decoy, a distraction to bury something larger, just like the Euro-Africa CCI $250 million scam that vanished into silence. It vanished into thin air. Phew. Different story, same silence, same government. And at this point, this is no longer about land or title deeds. It's about trust, about whether Edo people still believe that truth deserves defenders. Because when a state punishes truth tellers and rewards silence, it is grooming a generation that will fear its own conscience. But I know not all of us will stay quiet. Because as for me, I'm not done yet. I'm not done with this investigation yet. I have not forgotten the $250 million Euro-Africa CCI scandal. I have not forgotten the 14,000 hectare lie. And I will not stop until this web of deceit is fully unraveled. Because silence is how lies win. And I will not let silence win my state. I will not let lie win my state. So to the people of Edo, wake up. Wake the heck up. This is not just my fight. It's yours. It's our fight. Because when you allow one truth to be buried, the next lie will be built on your silence. This is Melanated of Yenzo Woba, and I will keep digging until Edo learns that truth is not treason.